What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the iGear CO2 part of their Raptor series, otherwise known as Skywarp. And this is loaned to me by my good buddy Oscar at Shattered Cast Uncut, and he needed a couple repairs done on it, well, just one repair, I guess. And he told me go ahead and give it a review, so check out his channel. I'm going to put a link in the description below. And right off the bat, I want to say I really like this guy. He's so big and beefy, and the transformation is actually not very difficult on this guy. I found myself really enjoying him. The downside is you have to buy all three of them at about $290. Get Skywarp, Starscream, and Thundercracker all in one go, which is fine. You probably want all three, but it would have been nice if these were more like $270 or even like $250 to get all three of them, and maybe $100 a shot if you buy them individually. I don't know, I find myself really kind of wanting to pick these guys up, so curse you, Oscar. But we'll see. We'll see if that ends up happening. But yeah, it's a really solid jet. So here we go. Let's give a little spin around here. You can see it comes with a nice stand. The stand actually just pegs in between the legs. Now the one problem I have with it is without putting pressure on the legs when you move it, it tends to pop the top part of the jet apart. Of course, yep, there it goes. See how I split this a little bit? So that's kind of a pain, but other than that, it's actually a pretty good stand. I mean, you can get all kinds of range of motion out of this guy, and he just stays on that stand. So props on the stand there. It does wobble quite a bit, as you can see, because it is just one piece of plastic here. But overall, it's effective and it gets the job done. Outside of that, there's not much to say about this particular airplane mode. The cockpit doesn't open, there's no hidden features. It's just a jet. So we'll just go ahead and take ourselves and show off some of the other comparisons. Here's your classics Skywarp, and you can see just how itty bitty and tiny he is compared to this guy. Of course, we have the ones that I was going to throw my hat into the ring for if they ever came out. But I'm kind of second guessing that right now based on these Raptors. This is the TFC Eagle. You can see the size is, the Raptors are a bit bigger than Eagle. Not too terribly big, but a little bit bigger. So you definitely get more for your money with this guy. And finally, of course, we've got the Masterpiece here, and you can see the Masterpiece just, well, it's bigger, but it's actually not a whole ton bigger. Yeah, it's a bit longer more than anything, but yeah, you can see the size difference, which you think would make this guy just enormous, but it's actually got a pretty cool transformation. Now, when I showed you this underside here, let's take him off the stand actually, so we can get everything kind of pegged in solidly like it's supposed to. And I'll show you the transformation from his robot, or from his plane to his robot, and I'll show it the other way around. So if you're looking, I'm not sure which way he comes packaged. I didn't get any of the packaging, but here we go. So on the underside, you can see pretty much like your classic Seeker, there's a lot of Seeker parts going on under there, which is a shame that this isn't a little bit more classic looking, but what can you do? Now you got a plethora of 5mm holes here, so I mean you can put these anywhere. Now I do feel that these, you of course get the null rays, very important when you get them, but you also get these little missiles, and I can't help but feel that they're really underwhelming. They're so tiny. I kind of wish I had a modified version of this without the big black back piece to put them on there, because I think that they would look way better. I mean, just for comparison, we can do it. There's nothing stopping us. So let's go ahead and peg on some Masterpiece missiles. And there you go. They're much better sized and look a lot more threatening from above. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed here. We're going to start by taking off all his accessories here. Just get them out of the way. The only ones we're going to use in his robot mode, of course, are going to be the null rays. So we'll just put them to the side. Now, my understanding is the instructions tell you to take the wings off. You can just kind of pop them all the way out on their joints and transform them still. But I do find it a lot easier to just pull the wings off and do that by themselves. So just fold these little tabs down so you kind of got the more traditional seeker wing going on both of these, like that. And then we'll come to the core robot here. So the first thing we're going to do is I unpeg these little tail fins here and slide this guy all the way forward, and you can see that it's designed so when it slides forward we can then slot it in with the tail fins here, like so. Next thing we're going to do is pop off these panels right here and kind of get these tail fins out of the way. Take them, rotate them all the way around, and you see the hole on the back here. You've got a little peg here, and it's about kind of moving it to the right position and pegging it on in. So flip it around, and we should separate the legs at this point just because there is overlap here. So find the right position and plug it on in like that. So now the next thing to do is to just telescope out the legs. Very simple. Flip the back heel and the front heel like that, and there we go. We've got a standing robot at this point in time. Alright, so now we're on to what might be the most difficult part of the transformation, and we're going to start by pulling out the nose cone like this, and then pull this chest piece down like so, and we'll come to the back here, and this is tricky. So what I do is take one of these pieces and just completely fold them down and keep one of them up like this. Now I want to point out here that at any point in time during this particular wrist could fall off, and the reason is that this is the one that needed to be repaired, and because it got jammed in place, actually the debonder made it not quite a perfect circle. It holds pretty good, but my understanding is that this toy had some really loose wrists when Oscar got them, and he put some glue on the ball joints, and they didn't quite seal good enough, or didn't cure good enough, and then this one got jammed on and ripped the ball joint off. So I would recommend clear nail polish or floor polish if you have this problem. But if this pops off, don't hold it against this toy necessarily. Make your judgment based on the fact that they're probably going to be a little bit loose. But again, I don't own it from right out of the box, so I don't know, I could be wrong. Anyway, so what makes this difficult here is that we need to take these pieces and flip them out. And there's no clear transformation like pull something open and flip them out or anything like that. Like legitimately, you have to force one of these past the other. So you want to keep the headpiece out of the way, and you just kind of want to work on one of them while you hold the other in place, and you'll eventually get it on around. And it's not that scary, but it doesn't seem like it's right. And I've checked a couple videos to make sure that I wasn't going to break my friend's toy, and nope, it's right. So that's kind of weird that they would make it that way. Anyway, once you have that around, pull that little panel down. We can fold his arm down, put his shoulder pad up, and flip his wrist all the way around so it's face up. And once one is done, the second one should just come right on through. So fold that down, shoulder pad up, fold the piece in, and flip his wrist around. So there we got that. We got this huge hollow space in here. And your first thing you're going to do next is to disconnect this. And you're going to think it goes, you know, Masterpiece, Classic, Seeker, goes all the way around. But it doesn't actually go the other way. But still, it still makes me feel like it's a nod to the way the original one transformed. And make sure you have this. And by original, I mean the Generation 1. Like that. And so you've got this now, and what you want to do is actually put this back in position and slide this on down. That'll hold his chest closed, and everything else should go properly. Make sure that you have this little tab out of the way to allow for proper placement of that cockpit piece. And there we go. Everything's pegged in. He's solid. He's looking good. Yeah, no problems. One thing that I've noticed I've kind of forgotten about numerous times here is actually these little side panels here. Usually they get folded in when I'm transforming him from jet automatically, just because of how you're holding them and twisting them around. But they are just little pieces to fill in between the body and where it connects to the wings, and they do just fold in to make a sleeker look. So my apologies for forgetting about that, and we'll just put him back to how he was here. So of course our Seeker's looking a little bit naked here. We're not quite finished with him, but I wanted to take the time to show the faces. This is the alternate face. It's more of a scowl versus the you know, the little smirk that we got going on here. But it's Oscar's toy, so he can do what he wants with it. I'll leave his Starscream-esque head on there. But let's talk about articulation while we don't have any of the extra bits hindering us. So his head is on a ball joint. You get a pretty good range of motion out of it. I can't help but feel that this is a really, really tough ball joint, and I don't know if that's been modified or not, but it's a really stiff ball joint, so I'm afraid to really give it a good twist, because I certainly don't want to break anything. And yeah, coming down to the arms here, you have these really stiff ratchets on them, which do let you go 90 degrees out. There we go. Put that back in. He does have the upper arm swivel, but you can't get the arm 360 without it hitting the little clip that the null ray is going to go into. But that whole null ray piece can actually turn around, so you can get the full 360. You do have a double jointed elbow there for good range of motion. And then of course the ball jointed wrist on both sides. We do have a waist articulation here. Down to the legs here. This little skirt armor will go out of the way, and it's just a universal pinned joint down here, swivel and swivel left, forward and back, and in and out. For that, that's a good range of motion. And then you do have the thigh swivel, and as we come down further, you have a double jointed knee, so real good range of motion there. And then of course the little toe articulation. You're not going to get much out of the toe articulation because it's just the forward back, but he has it nonetheless. So let's not let this guy keep looking naked, and let's actually get everything else that's supposed to go on him back on. And this chest piece doesn't hold in super tight, but yeah, I don't know why it's like that. I guess it could use a better pin or something, or a peg I should say. So here we go. We'll take his wings, and all they're going to do is plug onto the little post in the back here, like so. And you can choose to display them however you want. If you want them closed like that, you certainly can do that. There we go. Very much looking like Skywarp now. And the Decepticon symbols weren't added by iGear. Oscar added them himself on this guy, and I think they look good. The official way that they show these wings on this guy is to actually fold these down and open just a little bit to kind of make them look a little bit more, I guess, sharp and blade-like, I guess. So, kind of put that like this. And we'll go ahead and take his null rays here and put them right on the side of this guy. And he is looking pretty sharp, I've got to say. There we go. So yeah, that's our Skywarp here. So let's do some quick comparisons here. Here he is next to his classic counterpart, and you can see there's just really no comparison there. It's just way bigger. So yeah, this guy is really antiquated anymore. We'll also bring out Air Raid, but I have him kind of transformed like you would expect Starscream to look if they made it from that mold. So, pretty good size there. Here is Orion. And when I get this, the Orion to Starscream I think looks good. I think that's a good size comparison. However, when we bring Hegemon to Starscream, Megatron feels just a touch small to me. I don't know. I might get those foot upgrades, which I think give them just a little bit more height, and we'll see. But I think that would be good. We'll bring the Masterpiece Thundercracker here, and you can just see, again, Masterpiece is still bigger, but, you know, considering that, you know, there wasn't a huge difference in jets, this one being a little longer, pretty good size comes out of them. So, and definitely one that fits with your classics aesthetic better than the old classics. And finally, here is a Unique Toys Galvatron sporting a spare matrix that, again, Oscar sent to me because he had two of them with his Nemesis Orion. So, pretty cool. So let's actually transform this guy back to a jet and we'll call it a day. So we'll start by taking off the null rays. And I won't be putting them back on for the review. You guys can figure out the 5mm ports. So we'll take the wings, undo them, put them back to the Raptor style here. Like that. We'll then pull this all up, like so. Flip this on down, flip it around. Make sure that the jet cockpit is together. I always make sure his head is as far down as I possibly can get it to go. And close up these little panels that have flipped open in the process of transforming them. Like that. And now we have to get his arms completely down at its side. Flip this little arm piece down there. Like so. And then we'll do it with the other one first, I guess. So flip it all the way down, rotate the arm piece, and rotate this all the way on through. Make sure we have our wrist rotated around. Oh, there we go, popped it off accidentally. And I always put his fist down like this. I think it makes the most room. I think that's how it's supposed to go, but I'm not entirely sure. Take this, get this to squeeze on past all these pieces here, like so. And you have to kind of pull to the side a little to make sure everything lines up. But once you get it, everything here should be able to fall in place. There we go, just like that. And then we can take this, make sure the head is out of the way, and push this on in. And there we go, we got the top of the jet here. Again, check those little side panels, make sure you didn't fold them on in. And we can close up the chest piece, like so. Now we'll come to the legs here. I just kind of fold these on in right away. We'll take these, unpeg these, and flip them around the other way. Like so. And just leave them up. And then make sure your knee pads are out of the way so you don't jam them into anything. But take them, straighten that knee, telescope them on in, clip these together like so, and then you can bring these little tabs down. If you have this right, you'll see there's the little peg here. It'll plug into that little hole there. So just make sure that you have this forward enough to clear all the stuff here. There we go. It's in the hole here. And that should allow it to plug right into there, which will lock it into the crotch piece, I guess you'd call it. Pull that forward, and again, plugs in like that. So plane's pretty much done. Again, I folded these things down in the process. Unpeg the wing pieces from each other and slide back the tail fin. Like so, and just plug it into position. These only fold down so far, so you get the right look. And then it's just a matter of plugging the wings back in. So we take our one wing, we plug it into here, as you do with almost every Seeker. Slide it on forward and make sure you get all the tabs on into their respective ports. And it'll be a pretty solid connection all the way around here. So here we go. And again, plugged in. So there we go. Back to a Seeker. Pretty awesome, and I think I failed to mention that he does have a landing gear. You can pull it out the front and the back legs like this. So he's more than capable. Of course, in the last 2 minutes of the review, or less, the power ran out on the camera. Yeah, so anyway, back in secret form, again, we do have the landing gear. He's capable of, sitting there without needing the stand. But overall, I think it's a really good toy. I definitely think that he's worth his cost. Again, I just wish that you got a better discount when you bought all three of them, or, I could just get them individually. At some point, I wouldn't mind picking these guys up. I definitely think I would go this route over the TFC route, so we shall see if that ends up happening for me. But definitely a solid toy, definitely a good purchase. And thanks again to my buddy Oscar for letting me take a look at him. So, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next week.